It's Scheimtime.
What's up, Bobby?
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Time to play the game! Seesaw!
Are you ready to get duffed?
Whiz-Ball Rangers cashed in.
Good morning, Dr. Robotnik.
I'm all Craig. Pleased to meet you.
What is up, PICA world? This is Scheimtime, as the intro probably suggested to all of you. And this is your PICA playoff preview. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am super stoked for the playoffs coming up because this is something very, very special. PICA playoffs are very important. I didn't make them because I wasn't good enough. I finished my season 2-8, which is the opposite record of literally half the people in the playoffs. So, you know, it's cool. No big deal. I'll get them next year, but I'm not worried about me. This episode isn't about me. Even though I may like to make things about me. I do. But that's beside the point. This is all about your playoff contenders. We have 4 amazing matchups for you this week that are going to be absolutely riveting. I have no doubt about it. Oh, God, what is that? Got like something hanging in my beard. Sorry. I should probably cut that out, but I won't. It's cool. Anyways, your 4 matchups this weekend, or this week, whenever they happen, because we don't have a schedule, is going to be in the Hoenn Conference. We have Bob, coach of the Philly Shuckles, versus Patrick, coach of the Denver Dashers. Then we have Game Room Dom and the coach of the Richmond Rayquazes, or Rayquazes, however you pronounce it. I don't really care, tomato. And that he is facing Matt and the Washington Red Shells, which is sure to be a riveting matchup. Following that, we also have the one and only Brian Duffy versus Socrates. Duffy, the coach of the Shamrock Snovers, and Socrates, the coach of the Vespaquen Park Rangers. That will be a wonderful matchup as well. And lastly, our 4th playoff matchup, for all of you out there, is the one and only Gargleflop versus Robotnik. Gargleflop, the coach of the Berkhamsted Bastiodons, and Robotnik, the coach of the Sequim Malamars. I really hope I'm... Okay, hold on. Total side note. And Robotnik, I'm sorry. I have no idea how to actually pronounce the first word in your name. Like the something Malamars. I'm going Sequim because I'm pretty sure I heard someone say that. So this is me telling you that if I've been butchering it, and this is the second time I would have butchered it, if I'm butchering it, let me know. And if it's Sequim, we're cool. But I don't think it's Sequim because there's a word called sequins, which is, you know, what women have on dresses and stuff. So, yeah. Just let me know if I fucked that up. Thanks. Anyways, let's get into our first playoff matchup. This is Scheimtime's playoff picture. Matchup number 1. We have Bob and the Philly Shuckles versus Patrick and the Denver Dashes. If you didn't, by the way, for those of you who didn't know, if you listen to the intro, the sound effects at the beginning each indicate one coach. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, like, so you heard mayonnaise, is that an instrument? That was in reference to Patrick. And you heard Mr. B.O.B. for the one and only Bob. Okay, I'm gonna announce which sound effect goes with which person every time, but I don't care because I want you to know, because that took me a long time to put together, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought you would too. So anyways, let's get to the playoff picture. Bob and the Philly Shuckles are coming in at a solid 8-2 record with a plus 13 differential this season, having battled really, really well along the way. 2 losses is a great record. Over in the Hoenn Conference, it seemed like there's a clear split between the playoff contending teams and the non-playoff contending teams. And I think Bob absolutely deserved a spot. I'm going to give you like a playoff MVP to watch. I didn't do any kind of Vegas odds on MVPs, but I sure as hell did some Scheimtime Vegas odds on teams. So you're going to get that later. But anyways, on Bob's team, I really think that you gotta watch out for the one and only Heracross. I love Heracross. If anybody knows me, is one of my favorite Pokemon. So I was really jealous when we drafted that Bob got him. So and he got him like with his second pick or something ridiculous, which was great for Bob because Heracross is such a great Pokemon. You can run Band, you can run Guts, you can run Scarf, you can run Moxie, you can run all kinds of different Heracrosses. But overall, it's just an amazing wall breaker, and it just puts so much pressure on the other team because it does so much work physically. And so I do love Heracross, and that's going to be my Philly Shuckles MVP to watch out for because I just feel like Heracross could put in a ton of work. For all I know, Bob might not even bring it, and he might be out in the first round. But I'm just saying, if I was you, and I'm not, but if I was, I'd watch out for Heracross. But then again, I'm not in the playoffs. So take my word with a grain of salt. Anyways, let's move on to Patrick. Patrick and the Denver Dashers are coming into the playoffs now at a 7-3 record with a plus 13 differential. That's right, you may think it's a little weird. They have the same differential, but Patrick has one loss more. I also want you to understand that Patrick's last match of the season was kind of a throwaway match. He made many ridiculous sets. Him and Matt just kind of had fun with it. They both knew they were in the playoffs, and they didn't really care where they were seated. So they just kind of, fooled around, and that's great. Good for them. It was a fun match to watch because I was very curious to see what moves they put on their Pokemon. So Patrick's coming in with a plus 13 differential. And so they have the same differential, which makes it a curious sight. But at the same time, I feel like Bob might have the upper hand. For whatever reason, I feel like Patrick's been like very silently keeping pace with all the best teams in the conference. Him and Matt are in the same division, and he was just steadily keeping pace with Matt all season. And Matt has just been a powerhouse. I know in Inter-PICA prior to this season, he dominated, just clean swept everybody, and now he's here. And he started off the season, 4-0, 5-0, something ridiculous, until he lost to Nick. So Matt's not here to fool around. Matt's a very good player, and I feel like Patrick has silently been keeping up with him all season. And I think people need to respect what Patrick's done. I think Patrick is a very talented battler. I think he's put himself in an excellent position, and I would say for his team, the playoff MVP to watch. I don't see how you can choose against it. I would say Megalopony, but I don't want to be that guy and just pick everybody's going to go with. So I'm actually going to pick Nidoking. Patrick loves that Nidoking. He's grown very fond of it as the season's gone on, I feel like. And as much as I want to pick Porygon Z, because Porygon Z is the man, and Patrick's only brought it to like 3 matches, I'm gonna go with Nidoking. I think Nidoking's gonna put in work. Whether he decides to bring Choice Scarf Special, maybe he brings Physical, maybe he mix it up, maybe he goes a little bit defensive. I'm pretty sure Nidoking actually gets Poison Spikes, or maybe that's just Nidoqueen. Can't really remember. Either way, might bring a defensive one. Who knows? Patrick might mix it up on you because he even asks the question, is mayonnaise an instrument? No, it isn't, but that's a great question. And with our second matchup out of the Hoenn Conference, we're going to be matching up Dom and the Richmond Equazes versus Matt and the Washington Red Shells. I'm sorry, I just brain farted there. That was awful. But anyways, I just want you to know that in the intro, Dom's little sound effect was it's time to play the game, and Matt's sound effect was the Scizor sound effect, because that one's awesome, because Scizor's the best, and it's his team mascot, and his almost probably team MVP. So yeah. Anyways, let's get to the matchup. We have Dom and the Richmond Rayquazes coming into the matchup at a solid 7-3 record with a plus 16 differential. Dom is an exceptional battler. I love watching Dom's battles. I think Dom has such a unique set of Pokemon, and he's able to really kind of play with them really well. Being my first draft league format that I actually participated in, I was really curious as to how his team was going to have synergy when I saw him draft it, because I see a lot of really good and viable Pokemon that he drafted, and at the same time I'm like, well, how are those going to intertwine? But Dom has made them work out great. I mean, he has an awesome Firewater Grass Core, where he has Arcanine, Keldeo, and Superior, And I mean, Contrary Superior is just awesome. You get that Leaf Storm up, you automatically get to a +2 special attack. That really, really helps you out. It's fast as all hell. And you can even run it a little bit bulky too, which is really cool. And it gets access to Glare, which helps out a ton. I love Superior. And, you know, I think it's such an awesome mon. And then to have Keldeo, which is just a special monster, especially offensive monster. You know, I have seen a couple people run it physically offensive, but it's very rare. He's more of the special variety. And then also with Arcanine. Arcanine's a beast. I love Arcanine. It might be my favorite Gen 1 mon. And with Intimidate, you can throw a Rocky Helmet on that thing, make him max HP, max defense, and he can be a tank. He gets access to Morning Sun, so he can, you know, he has a viable option for recovery. God, I can't get my words out right now. And but then also you could throw a Choice Band on that thing. He gets access to E-Speed, which is just like, it's so clutch to have access to E-Speed. That priority can come in handy so much just to clean up, you know, mons that have just been chipped away at time and time again. And when they're really low, you just come in, finish them off, and move on from there. It also gets access to Close Combat, which is exceptional coverage for a Fire-type Pokemon. And then also he gets Flare Blitz and Wild Charge. I mean, overall, that's really good coverage. Not that, you know, you bring that every time, but I love Arcanine. I think it's such a good mon. And in was that a tier 4 or tier 3 mon? Yeah, I can't count. Tier 3. That is such good value. Arcanine is awesome. So I love the way Dom's put his team together. He even has a Fairy Dragon Steel Core that he can go to in Diancie, Salamence, and Lucario. But then he also has mons like Crocodile and Coffagrigus, which is just, you can hazard stack, you can just wall people. The Mummy ability is really helpful when nullifying another Pokemon's abilities, which is awesome. And then he has Reuniclus, which if anybody watches Joey Pokey-Aim, you know how good Hard Body is. That thing is just an absolute tank, and it's so hard to beat. There's times where you can beat every Pokemon he has except for Reuniclus, and then you lose because it gets access to Recover. It gets awesome abilities in Magic Guard and Regenerator. Its special attack is so fucking high, and if you run Trick Room, it's exceptional in that format because of its low speed stats. So I love Dom's team. I think Dom just did an awesome job team building, and then from there he's just been able to put teams together that have been very capable of putting down his opponents and just, you know, doing work against the competition. And then Matt, as I stated earlier, Matt has just been on this like tear. I'm pretty sure, if my math is right, and I may be very, very wrong, I can't remember exactly how many Inter-PICA matches there were, but Matt must be like something like 15-2 in his last 17 matches. Like, you know, no big deal. That's, you know, not good or anything. Are you nuts? That's fantastic. So Matt is a very, very dangerous battler. He built a really good team, but then is just extremely good in match and team prep and everything like that. And I mean, he has so many beastly threats. Oh, before I continue, my playoff MVP to watch for the one and only Dom's Game Room is going to be I'm going to go with Arcanine. I just think Arcanine's so versatile that it can just put in so much work against just about any team. Like it can just do so many different things. So I'm going to go with Arcanine. But now, let's get back to Matt. I'm sorry for that jump. I know I'm really jumpy there, so I'm sorry. But focus. It's okay. I'm back. So Matt just built an awesome team, a ton of offensive pressure. That early to mid-season acquisition of Greninja from the free agency pool has been huge for him. He loves bringing that to matches. It just does a ton of damage. It gets such a wide variety of moves. It's unbelievable. The move pool is just ridiculous. Like, it's almost not even fair. Now I understand why they don't allow Protean in the Draft League format, because it would just be absolutely broken. Like, it would just be... Greninja would be an absolute monster. I mean, it's so good with Torrent, and if it got Protean, it would just, oh my god, it would be a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. But I think the Pokemon MVP to watch on Matt's team, I'm gonna go really outside the box here, and I'm gonna go with Tangrowth. Okay, you may be thinking, well, I mean, dude, he doesn't get that many kills, and you would be right. He doesn't have the best plus minus. But he is an absolute stud. Like, Matt this year for Tangrowth, his plus minus is 2-1. That's it. But Tangrowth has the ability to suck up so many freaking hits. I mean, you could run an Assault Vest variant, and he gets access to moves like Knock Off, Earthquake, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, Power Whip, all those. Or you could give him lefties and run Leaf Storm, like Synthesis, Sleep Powder, Leech Seed, any of the above. I mean, Stun Spore if you wanted to. I don't fucking know. But Tangrowth is such a beast, and he's so versatile, and he's such a wall. It's so hard to take down Tangrowth without a very good flying type or fire type, and it just becomes a pain in the ass to beat, especially because it gets the ability Regenerator. So every time you switch it out, it's going to get a ton of health back, and then it comes back in, and it's still bulky as fuck, and then it's like, what the fuck do I do with this thing? So I'm gonna go with Tangrowth, and I don't think I'm not expecting him to like lead Matt's team in kills, which could be possible. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Nick's MVP was Blissey, so there's that. But I don't expect it to lead his team in kills, but I expect it to do a ton of work, and I think it's just gonna soak up so many hits, and it's such a good pivot Pokemon for Matt to be able to switch in, take a hit, switch out, and get in a better matchup. And I think that's huge, and it allows him to bring it in, soak up a hit, get a knock off an item, and then find a better matchup. So I think overall, Tangrowth would be my playoff MVP possibility for the Washington Red Shells and Coach Red Matt. And our third matchup of the playoffs comes to us from the Sinnoh Conference, where we're going to have the one and only Brian Duffy and the Shamrock Snovers versus Socrates, a.k.a. Sochi. I like to call him Sochi. I don't know if that's pronouncing it right, but that's how we spell it, Soccy, and the Vespiquen Park Rangers. Okay? So, if you noticed at the beginning, the sound effects, yeah, I'm going to point this out in every match, so get the fuck over it. All right? God. But anyways, Duffy sound effect was the Duff comment from The Simpsons. If anybody watches Simpsons, you'll know where that's from. If not, well, then you're shit out of luck. Sorry. And the Socrates one was the Queen's Park Rangers. I assume that's where he got the name from. I know it's a soccer team. I'm well aware of that. I'm not, an idiot when it comes to international football, because that's, as many people tell me, the real football, even though I love American football, but I do also love international football. So shout out to the Queen's Park Rangers, because that's where he gets Vespiquen Park Rangers from, I would assume. And that's why I put it in there. But anyways, let's get to some analysis, shall we? Analysis. Wow, I can't speak. My English is really bad today. I'm sorry. I tend to have that issue sometimes. I just kind of stumble over words constantly, and my English gets really bad. So pardon my English. Okay, cool, thanks. Anyways, let's go to Duffy. Duffy coming into this match is 6-4 with a +5 differential. Duffy is a good battler, without a question. I battled him. He was in my division, so I battled him twice this year. I got a good look at his team. And, I mean, I had a very big blind spot for P2, Mr. Porygon 2, a.k.a. Based God, a.k.a. like an absolute stud. I knew it was an issue after the first time I faced it. He beat me with P2. Like I had opportunities to beat everything else on his team, but I couldn't beat P2. I just couldn't do it. Like it was bad. And the second time was the same issue. The exact same issue. P2 came in, I couldn't do enough damage to it. It could just recover off, and I was just screwed. I was screwed because he was able to throw a Thunder Wave on that thing, speed control my team, and then just pummel me with tri attacks and all kinds of other crap, and I didn't really stand a chance. So P2, you got to be really careful for. You have to come prepared for P2. If you don't, you're in a lot of trouble. And it's so bulky as it is, plus it gets Eviolite, which just makes it 10 times more bulky. And that's the big issue. If you're able to knock off the Eviolite, P2 becomes a lot more manageable and a lot easier to take down. But if you can't, he's just going to Thunder Wave and Toxic and try attack the crap out of you, and you're in a lot of trouble. And with the trace ability, like one of the times he came in and traced my Pixelate from my Mega Altaria, and I'm like, well, that fucking sucks, because now he's going to hit me with a super effective tri-attack that has a 10% chance to burn, freeze, or para. So, 10% of each of those. I'm sorry. Should have mentioned that. So P2 is he is so fat. It's such a pain in my ass. He also has some good offensive pressure, but you can tell Brian's team is very, very bulky. Mega Ampharos, P2, Skarmory, Druddigan. They're all super, super bulky. I know them. I know them very well, especially now having battled them twice this season. And then he also has Manaphy, which just is one of the best setup sweepers in the game because it gets access to Tail Glow. Immediately puts you at a +3, and then you are at such an advantage already. Especially if you get behind a sub, it's like, in a lot of cases, it's game over. I've seen him throw the Wakan Berry on there to be able to take an electric attack. I've seen him throw lefties on there. You can even make it a little bit bulky so it can take some more hits. Manaphy is a monster, so you have to be careful around everyone at Duffy's team. And then Darmanitan is just sheer force, life orb. You want to run Choice Scarf. It just hits so fucking hard. It's frail. It has a big HP stat with very low defense and special defense. Its attack is like sky fucking high. So it hits hard, but it's something you can manage. And so with Duffy's team, I'm actually going to go with an MVP Pokemon that I haven't really talked about, which is Ampharos, Mega Ampharos. I'm going to say that Mega Ampharos is going to be his MVP, especially because I see a very good matchup for Mega Ampharos against Sochi's team. Other than that, Hippowdon, which you can rock HP Ice for, and that Bronzong and a Scavalier. Duffy Mega Ampharos just puts in work. It can take hits from just about everything. I didn't calc this, so I'm not sure. So you can calc it if you want. I know they'll calc it before they fight, but I don't know how much a Draco from Hydreigon, even if it's Choice Specs, does to Mega Ampharos because it's so fucking bulky. But I bet that's your best. That's like your best option. Like, yeah, Earthquake's going to do damage, but he's going to be able to eat one of them. And he's going to hit you back, and he's going to hit you hard because that special attack stat is through the effing roof. And so I would watch out for Mega Ampharos. That's going to be my playoff possibility MVP for Duffy, especially even after this match. Mega Ampharos just puts in the work, man. He's huge. He's fat AF, and he just hits hard as a Mack truck. So that's my prediction for him. And then on to Sochi's team. Sochi's got a really good team. Sochi's coming in at a solid 8-2 record with a +21 differential. Early on, well, not early in the season, about halfway through the season, I was fortunate enough to play really well and beat him the first time we faced off, and then the second time I was not so lucky. Sochi's an extremely good battler. He preps really hard. He understands the draft league format. He understands a 7-on-7 match with his opponent. There's 6-on-6 match. Wow, I can't count. I can't math. Again, I can't English either, so I can't do much of anything. But Sochi's very good at this. He knows what he's doing. He's not a fool. He's not a noob. He's not a rook like myself. And his team is very versatile. He can run a sand team. He does have access to sand with Hippowdon, who is an absolute tank on the physically defensive side. Hippowdon's a monster. He does have Stoutland to be able to run that Sand Rush. And then, it doubles Stoutland speed, and you throw a Choice Band or a Life Orb on the thing's going to hit hard, which is really nice. He now also traded Mega T-Tar late in the season and got access to Mega Pinsir, which is a really, really good draft league format mon. It gets the ability Aerialate, which, if you didn't know, turns normal type attacks into flying type attacks and then boosts their power by like 30% or 33%. I can't remember. And so Mega Pinsir gets access to Quick Attack. He gets access to Close Combat, Earthquake, Return, Roost, Swords Dance. He hits hard, man. He's got decent coverage. Aerialate it helps a lot. It helps a ton. So Mega Pinsir is something to watch out for. But I think in my opinion, Sochi's MVP to watch out for has to be Crobat. Crobat is super fat. It takes hits like a mofo. And then with Brave Bird, he can run Super Fang, Toxic. It's his one defogger, I think. Yeah, it's his only defogger. But it does a really good job of that. And then it also has, he has so much bulky support in mons like Bronzong, which is just a beast, which I really wanted to give my MVP pick. But I'm going to go with Crobat just because I think I am. I'm just going to go with Crobat. I like Crobat for his playoff run. He also has mons like Shaman, which hit hard. Heliolisk hits hard and is fast. So Hydreigon is a beast. Infernape is a monster in this format. So Sochi is nothing to mess around with, and I really, really think that this is going to be an awesome matchup. So yeah, let's go on to the next match. Our fourth and final match is going to be the one and only Gargleflop and the Berkhamsted Bastiodons versus Robotnik, Andy, and the Sequim Malamars. G-Flop comes into this battle at a solid 8-2 record with a plus 19 differential. I mean, what can I say? G-Flop has been really good this season. I mean, he started off the season 5-0 and then finally lost one. He ended up losing one more along the way, but I mean, an 8-2 record is nothing to sneeze at. It's tied for the best record in the league, and he's an extremely good battler. He has a really good team. I mean, he has Mega Sableye, and Mega Sableye in this format is just so fucking good. It's such a bitch to deal with. It's such a pain in the ass. Like, it's so good. Before it Mega Evolves, it gets access to Prankster. As soon as it Mega Evolves, it gets access to Magic Bounce. It gets Recover, it gets Willow, it gets Calm Mind, it gets Dark Pulse, it gets Sky High Defense, Sky High Special Defense. Not a great HP stat, but I mean, you can make up for it in its defenses. You can run Shadow Sneak, you can run Knockoff, you can run Fake Out, you can do whatever the hell you want with that thing, because that thing is just a pain in my ass. It's really good, really bulky. Great for hazard control, great for statusing, great for just about anything you want to do. Like, to be honest, it's so good. It's such a nice pivot Pokemon to have. And to be able to switch in Mega Sableye to a lot of things. I mean, it only has one weakness in Fairy type. That's it. I mean, that's it. That's its only weakness. So if you don't have a good Fairy type attack, it's going to be so hard to deal with. So that is something to really watch out for. He also has Dragonite, which a lot of the time, I'm pretty sure almost every match he's brought Dragonite to, he ran Choice Band. I mean, Choice Band, E-Speed from Dragonite is going to hurt. He gets Outrage and Dragon Claw and Fire Punch and Iron Head and Earthquake and Thunder Punch and all that crap. And he also gets access to D-Dance, and if you didn't want to run Choice Band, that's fine. He gets Multiscale, which makes any super effective move when he's at full HP do not full damage. I think it's like 3/4 of the damage. I think that's what it is. Might be. I can't remember. I think it's like Filter, but except Filter doesn't have to be when you're at full HP. Might do half the damage. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Can't remember because I'm a loser. I'm such a loser. But anyways, after Dragonite, he also has Garchomp, he has Heatran, he has Tentacruel, which is a mon that I love, he has Uxie, which is a bulky pivot mon, and then he has his boy Bastiodon, which he loves to use, and then he has Metacham, which it hits really hard, it hits really, really hard, and with Fake Out, I mean, it's really nice. He gets access to Fake Out, Bullet Punch, High Jump Kick, Zen Headbutt, Psycho Cut, whatever you want to run on him. And then he's got Rotom Fan, which is nice, and Selgor, which you can use to hazard stack, or can run Sash Endeavor or something. I think it gets Endeavor. I can't remember. Anyways, he's got a really, really good team. Really tough to deal with. A ton of bulky Pokemon. You can tell he loves his bulk, but he also has mons that just hit hard as a mofo. You can run Scarf Chomp, you can run Defensive Chomp, you can run Dragon Dance Chomp, you can do whatever you want with Chomp because Chomp's a beast. Heatran, you can run Bulky and Toxic Stall, you can run Air Balloon, you can run whatever the hell you want. It gets great coverage in Fire and Steel. It's such a good Fairy defense if you have a strong Fairy type. So, I really like Gargleflop's team, and he's an exceptional battler. My playoff MVP for him to watch out for has to be, I mean, it's so obvious, but I'm going to choose it anyways. It has to be Mega Sableye. It's going to soak up so many hits. Like I said, with Tangrowth, when it came to Matt, he may not lead the team in kills. He may not have the best KD, but he's going to be a pain in the ass to get rid of. He's going to soak up a ton of hits, and he's just going to be an absolute monster. All right, and in regards to Robotnik comes in, Andy, the coach of the Sequim Malamars, comes in at a 6-4 record with a +3 differential. Andy gets super salty when he loses because he gets really, really mad at himself, which a lot of times is kind of funny. So that's nice. But overall, he's a good battler, and he has a really good team. He doesn't like his team as much as a lot of people, but I like his team. more or less, I really like Mega Aggron. I love Volcanion. Feraligator's a monster. Espeon is fast, gets access to Magic Bounce. Gligar is a decent wall, can wall a lot of things. Gets his Defog, gets his rocks. Noivern, if you give it the Life Orb or the Choice Specs, it hits hard. Otherwise, it's good, but it's nothing too special. Electivire's got some good coverage. Diggersby is a monster, which is really nice. But overall, I think his team's pretty bulky. He's got a lot of bulk to his team because he also has Sylveon, which you can run specially offensive and just pummel teams. Throw some Choice Specs on there, or you can make it bulky. Gets access to Heal Bell, Wish, Protect, Baton Pass. What's up? Yeah, people are staring at me through the studio window, so that's why I said what's up. Sorry about that. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think Andy's team is really good. He has a lot of good mons, ton of bulk, and I think if he utilizes them the right way and doesn't get too down on himself, then he'll be just fine. Because I actually I've played him in the last match of the season. I listened to his commentary of the match afterward, and he's like, "Oh no. Oh God, I think I just fucked myself again. Oh man, oh Jesus. Oh God, why do I play so shitty? Oh God, I hate this. I'm so bad. Oh, shut up. You're not bad. All right, you're not. You're better than me, that's for damn sure. But anyways, he can win this if he puts together the right team and just doesn't make any too stupid mistakes. That's basically how it goes. I think Robo has a good chance. So he needs to not be super salty if he loses, because this isn't an easy opponent. This is no walkthrough opponent. He's not 2-7 like I was. But overall, I think it's going to be an awesome match. I think Robotnik's Mon to watch out for. I'm actually going to go with Feraligator. Really late pickup for him. Could do a ton of damage if he gets off a D-Dance or anything. With Life Orb, Sheep Force, it just puts in the work. So I think overall, Feraligator is probably my best bet for his prospective playoff MVP. Oh, I forgot. I almost forgot. Okay. The final sound effects, too, for these two were, of course, for Robotnik, it's Robotnik. I felt like that was pretty self-explanatory, right? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. So you should get that one. That's pretty commonplace. And the last one is actually something that I highly doubt a lot of you are going to understand or get. I didn't know what to do for G-Flop. I just didn't know. So I picked out a clip of one of my favorite YouTube videos, possibly ever, called Old Greg. If you haven't watched Old Greg, you're going to type it into YouTube. Greg is spelled Gregg, so get that right. And for whatever reason, it just lured me to it. Gargleflop, Old Greg. They sound kind of similar, right? Maybe a little, maybe not. I don't know. But Old Greg, I love it. If you know Old Greg, you'll get this reference. And if you ever drunk Baileys from a boot, yeah, right? Either went way over your head or you started chuckling. I don't know. But it determines if I like you or not. Yeah. Anyways, those are the last sound effects I had. So that kind of wraps up the playoff preview. But now, people, I got a little special treat for you. So the final thing I have for you guys is, without question, the Scheimtime Primetime PICA Playoff Vegas odds of winning it all. That's right. I made my own odds. I'm not Vegas. I'm not even Bovada, so I have no idea what I'm doing, but I made odds anyways because I wanted to. So just consider them more of a power rankings with some odds next to them. That's what they're going to be. We're going to start from the hardest odds to win, like the lowest chance, and work our way up to the most highly favored of the all odds, okay? So we're going to start out at a solid 12-1 odds to win all of PICA. We have the one and only Robotnik and Duffy sharing the spot there at 12-1. I feel like they both have solid teams. Their season record doesn't really, put a ton of hope in you. Don't get me wrong. These are great battlers. So, by the way, before I even continue, none of you take any offense to this. You guys are all in the playoffs, and I'm not. So, what the fuck do I know? But I just did these just because I thought they'd be fun. And I wanted to pretend I was Vegas. So anyways, Duffy and Robotnik are my 12-1 odds. to win. I just think that overall they haven't inspired me a ton with their regular season performance, but then again, I know that they're excellent battlers because I played them both twice. And I think they do have a shot if they build the right way and play really well. I mean, that's plain and simple. Coming in next at 10-1 odds, we have Game Room Dom. So I love Dom's symmetry. I really wanted to put him higher. Unfortunately, I for whatever reason, I couldn't. I really wanted to. So Dom, know that. I wanted you to be higher on the Bovada Scheimtime rankings, but I just couldn't do it. Coming in at 7-3, the reason being for Dom is that he's going to have the toughest schedule. I mean, for the most part, to get to the championship, he has to beat Matt, who is the toughest, in my opinion, the toughest first round opponent, and a very, very good competitor in this league. Then he'd have to face the winner of Bob versus Patrick, which is another exceptional player. And then on top of that, he's going to have to beat the winner of the Sinnoh Conference, which is going to be no slouch either because it's going to be the championship. So to take it all, he has a really, really tough road. But then again, sometimes the teams that take the toughest road are the most battle-tested and can pull it through. So if Dom wins, then there you go. If you bet Dom, 10-1 odds, those are pretty good. I like those odds. If I was you, I would bet Dom on 10-1 odds because you could win a lot of money. I mean, you bet $100, there you go. You win 1,000 if he wins it all. So those are good odds. But anyways, let's go on to the next one. I'm going to go with, at 8-1 odds, I go with Bob of the Philly Shuckles and Patrick of the Denver Dashers. I actually have them both at 8-1. I think they're very evenly matched. I also think they're both exceptional competitors. But once again, they're in the Hoenn Conference. They have a really tough division. They're facing each other in the first round, and then we'll have to face either Dom or Matt. And if Dom comes out, he just beat Matt, who has the best differential in the league and is technically the #1 ranked team in the league as of the last week of the regular season. So he's not going to be a slouch, and then they have to beat the winner of the Sinnoh Conference. So I just think that overall, Bob and Patrick's time would be very, very hard, but that's why I put them at 8-1 odds. Also very good odds if you're trying to take an underdog. I like the 8-1 odds for Bob and Patrick. Next, I have at 7-1 odds, I have Mr. Socrates and the Vespiquen Park Rangers. I think Sochi can for sure win the round one. I think he has the ability to do that. I think he has a great team. But then also he'd have to get through either Robotnik having just beaten Gargleflop, or he has to get through Gargleflop, which are two tough competitors. And then on top of that, he has to face the winner of the Hoenn Conference, and I just think that that's a really tall order. It's a really long road. Don't get me wrong. I think Sochi can do it. That's why he's so high on the odds board. And I mean, you can't make any of these a guaranteed lock because none of these, I mean, Pokemon RNGesus just comes into effect. And you can never, with RNGesus in play, no one is ever a surefire victor or champion or anything like that. So none of these odds are going to be even close to like 100% guarantee. My highest odds are 5-1, and Sochi's coming in at 7-1. So I mean, I wouldn't consider that bad. Coming in at 6-1 odds to be the championship, to be the overall champion of PICA Season 3, is the one and only Gargleflop. I think G-Flop's he's an exceptional battler. I think he's got a good team. A lot of bulk, a lot of strength. 8-2 record. He showed it in the regular season that he's good. Some people out there think that he's very one-dimensional, but we'll see come playoffs exactly what goes down. And if G-Flop comes out on top, then G-Flop is going to prove the haters wrong. But until he does that, we'll get there when we get there. But overall, G-Flop's my second highest odds to win it all at 6-1, and coming in at a solid 5-1, and the leader in the pack, in my opinion, as the odds to win it all in Scheimtime's Vegas odds is going to be Matt at 5-1. I just think overall Matt has proven this season that he's an extremely good battler. He's had, I'm pretty sure, either one, maybe two 6-0 wins. I mean, he's nothing to fool around with. Matt's a really, really good battler. He has a really solid team. Mega Scizor is a beast. Latias is awesome. He has so many other Pokemon that are just so good. I'm just not looking at the list right at this second. And, I mean, I can't really pick against him at this point because I know how good he is. I've seen how good he is. I've seen all his matches. And in my opinion, Matt is the favorite to win at 5-1. But those are the odds. You can make your bets at, my Venmo is Scheimtime. That's my Venmo. You can just send it there. You may or may not win. We'll see. I'm going to see what happens. Or I'll just take the money and run away and buy as much alcohol and booze and all kinds of fun stuff as I can. Who knows? Maybe I'll take it to Vegas and bet on real stuff, like football or something. I don't know. You know, whatever. But yeah, those are my Scheimtime Vegas odds. And that's going to wrap up our overall playoff preview. I hope everyone enjoyed that. I loved making it for you guys. It was wonderful. It's actually quite an enthusiastic... No, that's a terrible word to use. I don't even know. I'm stumbling over English, so I'm just going to leave now. Enjoy the playoffs, guys, and good luck to all the competitors. And we, or at least I, will see you next week, or next season, hopefully. I assume that won't be until Sun and Moon drops, but, you know, we'll see what happens. So everybody enjoy the playoffs. Enjoy the championship. Good luck to all the contenders. And peace out, people. Scheimtime out.